UFC's hottest new signing is called Michael Venom Page, a fighter so unapologetically brazen in the octagon, so flashy and unorthodox that it seems impossible to win.
He's off the liver shot. It can come back. Beautiful. Runs into the jump knee and it's over. Michael Venom Page.
Not only does he win fights, but he does it so spectacularly that he is in a league of his own when it comes to highlight KOs.
Just let me click my fingers. I'm taking over everybody. Everybody.
It's always interesting when a champion from another organization finally signs with the UFC after years of what-ifs.
The UFC is kind of been in my heart since joining MMA. It's always been something I have seen myself at least at one point in my career doing.
But isn't it too late? The 36-year-old MVP does not hide his aspirations for UFC gold. But even if his style and abilities are enough to hang with the big boys at 170 pounds, does he have the time to make a title run with a style so reliant on speed?
I don't take a lot of damage, so I can definitely see myself into my 40s, mid-40s, if I choose to.
Before we give you the perspectives and ask what you think, let us take you through the career of Michael Venom Page and see what makes him so spectacular and unique. Page was born in 1987 in London to parents who were both Lao Gar Kung Fu practitioners. Michael began martial arts as early as 3, just like most of his 9 siblings. From 1998 to 2010, Page won numerous domestic and international semi- and light contact tournaments, with 10 world championships to his name. Watching the highlights from his early days, we can clearly see much of the artistic style he would later bring to mixed martial arts. But MVP is an entertainer as much as a fighter. The world of light contact kickboxing would have never been enough for him to express his talents. Luckily, he knew it perfectly well and went down the path of professional fighting, where his unique style and showmanship would be genuinely appreciated and compensated for. With just 6 months of MMA training, the 24-year-old Page debuted professionally under the UFC MMA banner. MVP did not look like a debutant though, and from the first second began taunting and dancing. Just over a minute had passed when MVP unleashed a tornado kick to end the fight.
Shoot fight screaming out in time to take it seriously, and there's a spinning kick. That is unbelievable.
One of the most unbelievable things I've seen in a very long time.
The knockout immediately went viral, and Page started gaining attention. With spectacular finishes stacking, it didn't take long for MVP to get noticed by the big leagues.
I've been signed to another big show, Bellator in America, and hopefully you guys can look forward to me doing some big things out there as well.
And he began his career-long stint at Bellator as a fresh 5-0 prospect. The style he fights in, as MVP calls it, is hands down kickboxing. This is a blend of Kung Fu, Taekwondo, and Karate he developed in his semi-contact kickboxing days. The big benefit of having a unique style is that the opponent never knows what to expect, and it is nearly impossible to prepare properly for him. After peppering his opponents with punches the entire round, Venom mercifully ended the fight with a vicious right hand.
Vai dando de Anderson Silva, golpe certeiro de direita, está.
Admittedly, Bellator did not hurry to put Page into the fire. After all, both parties benefit from spectacular highlight knockouts, and this is exactly what MVP produced against Rudy Bears. As Page was doing his usual taunts, he perfectly timed Bears as he was shifting forward and intercepted him with a blinding fast punch. His next 2 opponents didn't present any real danger to MVP, but did become the right canvases for him to paint his full picture of taunting, showboating, a spectacular finish, and the now mandatory unique celebration.
Taekwondo background, another big right in that rock Holloway. That hurt him. And that's it.
He reverse ankle locked him, counter ankle locked him.
The winner by submission, still undefeated, Venom Page.
With a record of 10-0, it was finally time for Page to face someone fans actually knew prior to the fight. And when negotiations with fellow Brit Paul Daly failed, MVP faced a true veteran of the game, Evangelista Santos. While Cyborg couldn't handle striking with MVP, he did manage to earn some ground control time in the first round. But the second round was not only the last in the fight, but also in Cyborg's career.
Shot. It can come back. Cyborg runs into the jump knee, and it's over.
By now, you may have noticed one of the main tactics of MVP is luring people in, and as they chase him with every attempt, they overextend a bit more and duck their heads. As Cyborg was agonizing on the canvas, MVP threw a Pokeball at him, but it was only later that we learned the strike had caved Santos's head in. If fans were not familiar with MVP, they sure were now.
Michael Page hit Cyborg Santos with a knee so hard that he fractured his skull.
Seen that.
His skull caved in, and the fucking MRIs are insane. I've never seen that. In all my years of watching fights and being involved in martial arts, I've never seen anybody's head caved in like that.
After an unimpressive split decision victory came at a time of strange inactivity. In the next 2.5 years, Page fought MMA only once, when he forced David Rickles to forfeit halfway through the match. But he also scored 2 flashy knockouts in the boxing ring against no-name opponents.
Oh, what a right hand! And down goes Castano. Scheduled for 4. The opening 3 minutes. What a right hand!
After MVP and Paul Daly danced around each other for quite some time, the pair finally shared the cage at Bellator 216 as part of the Bellator Welterweight Grand Prix. The long-anticipated fight went the distance, and the judges saw Michael as the winner. Waiting for him in the semifinal was the former 2-time welterweight champion, Douglas Lima. Showboaters in general do not sit well with many people, and for all the people praying for him to get hit by his karma, this was the moment it happened. Lima landed multiple low kicks, but the fateful one happened at the beginning of the second and finally put Michael on the receiving end of a highlight KO.
100%.
Oh, and there... What a shot by Lima! Mamma mia!
He took the loss respectfully, but it didn't change his style and antics even a bit. A few months later, Page was back in the cage, coming up with new ways to insult his opponent before knocking them out.
Joe, is it? MVP right hand towards the cage, all smart. There he goes down. And he's starting to look like a kid in the square zone. It is all over!
The mobility up kick by MVP, and what a recovery!
He scored a few impressive wins, which are fun to watch, but it was clear the opponents were cherry-picked precisely to allow for these outcomes. Finally, at Bellator 267, Michael rematched his nemesis, Douglas Lima. After 3 exhilarating rounds, Michael won a split decision and showed he could not only knock out low-level opponents, but also defeat championship-caliber fighters.
MVP Michael! I understand why he's been a champion 3 times. Everyone give it up for Douglas Lima, please. The one and only MVP!
Before he fought his final Bellator fight in March 2023, where he exploded the leg of his opponent with a low kick, Page ventured into yet another venue and met the face of bare-knuckle boxing, Mike Perry. Many believed the smaller circle and the lack of kicks would be disastrous for Venom, but he once again proved everybody wrong and engaged in an epic scrap with Perry.
Perry stepping forward, caught with the right hand, both hands to the body from Page, right hand.
After 5 rounds, the bout was declared a draw, and only after the extension round was Perry awarded the win with the slightest of margins. And after more than a decade in Bellator and the short BKFC stint, MVP is finally getting into the ultimate proving grounds, the UFC. Page knows well that he is at the twilight of his career and plans to waste no time. But does he have what it takes to accomplish this on the biggest stage of them all? Page certainly has the skill set to hang with the best in the world. His ability to manage distance, lure opponents in for counters, and blitz them at crucial moments will be a nearly unsolvable puzzle for most. He has also been brimming with confidence from his very first professional fight, which is something crucial for both executing a style such as his and for winning a UFC title. But then, the UFC's welterweight division is full of beasts, half of which are lethal grapplers. And with perhaps 2 to 3 years left in his prime, MVP is up against a monumental task. But regardless of whether it succeeds or not, we are 100% certain the ride will be well worth every cent and minute spent watching it.